OpenAI just launched AgentKit, a suite of tools to help users develop AI agents. This was an incredible launch for the OpenAI team, and we just congratulate them. We're very excited for their increasingly high quality product catalog that helps developers build incredible tools. Part of AgentKit is Agent Builder, a tool that is a visual workflow agentic builder very similar to Langflow. And so in this video, we're going to look at exactly that. I think it's worth mentioning off the bat that we're not really interested in saying this is better or that's better, because if we're engineers, we realize the true answer is it depends, and it's all trade-offs all the way down. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to explore building the same type of agent in both tools, and in so doing, we'll understand the trade-offs between them, enabling you, the developer, to choose the right tool for the job. Okay, that's really all we want to do. We don't actually have a comparison table or anything because we don't believe we need one, but instead we just decide and learn on the trade-offs together by actually interactively building something. To start with, we'll build an agent in Langflow and then replicate exactly that same agent in OpenAI's Agent Builder. And I believe by doing this, the trade-offs will become clear. The agent that we're going to build is a very simple agent because we want this video to be short enough that you can watch and understand. We're going to build an agent that manages a calendar. The reason for this is it's a great use case. It's an agent that does a job that integrates either over MCP or similar, and it showcases agentic capabilities because if it can connect to a calendar tool, it can connect to any enterprise tool you may or may not have, right? That also is the reason because OpenAI has integrations with Google Calendar as well. So I think it's just a great use case demo. Okay, so to get started, let's just build this in Langflow. We can kind of breeze through it because this is the Langflow YouTube channel, and the assumption is many of you know Langflow. So let's dive in. So this is Langflow 1.6, and so we'll create a flow. And we're going to start from scratch. And we're going to start from scratch because we have different templates. Langflow has templates you can start with. OpenAI has templates you can start with. But we get a really good comparison if we start at the same level, right? And so let's do that. Start from scratch, blank flow. If you know Langflow, you already know inputs and outputs are kind of the name of the game. So we'll do a chat input and a chat output. We'll get an agent on the canvas right here, and we'll just wire them up. So input goes into input, output goes into output. And one really interesting thing about Langflow is all these nodes on this graph here are just code. Like literally, it's all Python. So I can edit literally anything. I can go to the chat input, click on code, and change it from chat input to chat, sup. And and now it's called chat sup, right? And we can deal with any of the logic in this right here if we just know Python. Okay, so we have this. It's kind of an agent. Let's use GPT-5 because that's what Agent Builder uses. Okay, and so we have it. The only thing missing is a tool. Let's add Google Calendar support using Composio, which is integration in our ecosystem. So if you discover more components, you'll see that we integrate with a lot of different things. And Google and Grok and whatever. Perplexity, let's go to Composio because they connect with even more things like Gmail, Linear, Slack, Reddit. But let's go to Google Calendar here. And what we're going to do is enable tool mode. And so now the question becomes, what can the tools do? Well, they can do all these things. Let's just choose everything. Okay, perfect. And so that's it. Let's connect the tools. And now we have an agent that can manage a calendar. Let's take a look. So if we go to the playground and let's open up my calendar here. Let's maybe do a side by side. So this is my calendar. Welcome. There's really nothing special happening here. So we'll open the calendar in split view and we'll say, create a lunch event for 1 p.m. October 8th, 2025 in Europe, Berlin. If you're building an actual agent platform, like the date will just come from context, but Langflow's a bit lower level. So create a lunch event for 30 min in my calendar, right? Let's send that off. And we're off to the races. So now we should have something around here, just like up here. So it's accessing Google Calendar create event. There we go. Lunch 1 p.m. It exists, right? And you saw I didn't like click and do that. The agent did. Okay, cool. The cool thing about Langflow is you can work with any model across any provider, even local on-device ones. So if we go back here to our agent, and instead of OpenAI, say we wanted to use like Anthropic and use Claude because they just released 4.5 Sonnet, which is somewhere here. We can also add it. Let's do Sonnet 4, okay? So we click on this. So now we're using Claude to manage our calendar. So let's go back and say, actually delete that event, right? And so now we invoke an agentic flow using an entirely different model, and it says it's so there you go. So it did. It just took some processing time. The lunch event has been, and it knew that event was the lunch, right? And so we worked with different models. In fact, we can using Olama work with a local on-device model with an on-device runtime like Olama. We can do that. I can't do that on video here because that uses my GPU and so does recording, and I don't have enough compute. But you're welcome to try it yourself. Let us know in the comments. You can use different models, including open source ones. Langflow itself is also just a server. Like it runs on local host. It runs on your infra. You can deploy this wherever you want. It's a Docker container, and I think that's going to be important to know going forward. Okay, so we built this. We used a connector and it worked in Langflow. Let's do the same thing, but this time with Agent Builder. So this is super new. I just got access to it. This is Agent Builder. Welcome. They have templates here. We're not going to use the templates. We're going to just create from scratch. And we're given this very similar canvas, which starts and has an agent. Start agent. Okay. This is good. What do we have here? So start has input variables and state variables. An agent has a system prompt and a name. Let's call this calendar agent. I love actually that it updates here in real time like that. But what I'm noticing is this is not code. I can't go in and change any of the logic. Model GPT-5 is fine. Tools, okay. So now I see on the left here a bunch of things I can add, similar to Langflow, where we went and added our composer from the left. So I'm going to come here and what do we want? File search. This is actually kind of cool because you can enter vector store ID. You can create vector stores, I believe, in the OpenAI developer platform. So it's all connected. It's kind of like an ecosystem. Guardrails, I think they are similar, right? Okay. But we're interested in MCP. This is what we're interested in. And so we're going to add an MCP server. We're going to add the Google Calendar MCP server. And we're going to add an access token. And we're going to connect. Okay, so now it will connect. Cool, it connected. My API key is right there, but okay. And we're going to connect the agent to my tool over MCP, but it can't. And what's going on? MCP requires input ID events, but calendar agent doesn't provide. Okay. It's interesting because I can do this the Langflow way, or I can, there's this tools thing in here. And so let's try, instead of that, let's go here and add a tool to this agent. Same MCP server, Google Calendar, and then I'll paste my API key, which you have by now. Cool, okay, now it's better. I can do a bunch of stuff here. Fantastic. Always require approval for tool. I like that it asks, because Langflow didn't ask. Let's just YOLO it. Okay. So now we have it. Let's go to our preview and test the workflow. Fantastic. All right, so let's open up that calendar again. And let's do a side-by-side, just like we did here. Okay. I love this canvas, I must say. Okay, so now let's test this workflow and say, let's just copy the prompt from Langflow. Create a lunch event, this one. And so let's come here, paste it, see what happens. I'm excited about this. I actually have not run this before. Okay, the instructions mention avoid heavy formatting, but allow. I need to clarify how to handle time zones. I can't create events directly in your calendar with the current connection. I can either generate, why not? I suspect it's because it doesn't have the tools. So let's just go and make sure. Read event, fetch, get profile, read. So it can fetch and search, but it can't mutate. That's fine. Let's make an event, lunch, and ask, what events do I have on my calendar today? And it should, should have please ask before booking, ideally, and lunch. So I need to use the calendar tool. Perfect. The default time zone is America, Los Angeles. It's not, but here we go. I'm going to call search events. To get that, I should first call get profile. Hey, this is working. This is awesome. I can check that for you, but I'm currently unable to reach your Google Calendar integration. If you have multiple calendars, which one? I do, but it's the default one. You can paste your events or share a screenshot, and I'll summarize. Okay. I think this is clear that it's not going to be able to make one. and it's also unable to reach, but it doesn't say why. And I would love that uses the responses API, so maybe I can debug it. Fantastic. An unknown error occurred while executing the tool. Uh, well, that doesn't really help very much. Okay, I think I can't move forward with this anymore. And hey, honestly, this is not scripted. I have not used this before. I'm just saying. Yeah, I think that's the only tool I can use. I like the evals thing. Um, code. Wow, cool. I don't know what this is, but I can download this as code. Oh, awesome. And it's TypeScript, not Python, to be fair. It's a solid point. Okay, let's bring this home. I couldn't build the agent with Langflow, but I think with OpenAI you can. I think that workflow is solid. It was intuitive. I knew well. I mean, the tool in the agent versus the thing to the side wasn't. Okay, let's try and understand when to use the right tool for the job. Agent Builder is tremendous because it gives you, it's hosted for starters. You just go, it's hosted, it's multi-tenant. You log in, you use it. It's enterprise ready. It's got uptime, for example. It's a hosted cloud solution. Langflow, we don't have a hosted story yet. It's a local thing that you download, run on localhost, and then host however you want. Now we've got plenty of content about how to host this on our YouTube channel. Just there's a thing up there if you're watching on YouTube about how to host Langflow, but it's not a hosted thing. That's already a trade-off, right? With OpenAI, it's hosted. You're ready to go. As long as you can navigate the tool interface and build your own MCP tools, should be good to go. That's really awesome. Second, so that's point in favor of OpenAI's AgentKit. It's hosted and ready to go. With Langflow, it's a little bit more complex, but you need to host it yourself. One benefit to self-hosting is, of course, you can host it wherever you want. So if you're a large enterprise and you have zero trust architecture, well, then Langflow can work for you in the enterprise or in like highly sensitive information or information architectures where you're not comfortable sending all your data to some external provider, aka OpenAI in this case. So that it's a trade-off, definitely. Not one is better than the other. I mean, you get convenience with OpenAI. Second, things like uptime and server maintenance are on you as well with Langflow. They're not on you with OpenAI. But perhaps something even more interesting is with the agent builder and agent kit, you're constrained to OpenAI's models. And as we looked at with Langflow, you can use Anthropic when you need to. You can use Ollama local models when you need to. You just have more choice with Langflow. I think that is a pro in favor of Langflow, that you're not constrained to one specific vendor of models. So there's no lock-in, to use that word. And so self-hosting, model interchangeability are super helpful, including like local on-premise running in favor Langflow, whereas convenience and frankly quality in favor OpenAI, although at the cost of model flexibility. That's what I've seen so far. Also, OpenAI, their MCP integration allows two tools, search and fetch. Right now, this will change obviously, but that's something to be aware of. And frankly, I think that should give you sort of a balanced view on when to use it. So let's summarize this. When do I use Langflow? I use Langflow when I want on-premise hosted stuff that I own, on infrastructure that I own, when I want to use any model vendor that I want, and when I want, frankly, a big tool ecosystem, like with Composio, with all those things we saw. And when it's important to me to run models locally and on device. And let me say this, when everything is code, all the components are code. And finally, the last thing is Langflow is 100% fully open source and MIT licensed. That's all when to use Langflow, when you care about those things. When to use OpenAI's AgentKit. One, when you're already deep in the OpenAI ecosystem, it just makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're going to run their models on their infrastructure with a lot more efficiency, with a lot more uptime guarantees. When else do you use OpenAI's Agent Builder? When you have like vector databases on them, and when you want a hosted solution that is just convenient, that also has support for OpenAI's first-in-class guardrails and safety measures that with Langflow you're going to have to reason about yourself. So it's really a question of convenience, right, and ecosystem allegiance, so to speak. Langflow just allows you to choose. OpenAI allows you to choose them. Also, the agent builder is not open source, but if that doesn't matter to you, that doesn't matter to you. I think ultimately the key differentiator is convenience and where you already are. We hope this has been helpful. Both tools indeed are valuable. Both tools will help you build better agents. It's just a question of what do you use and when and what the trade-offs are. If that's become clear, let us know on socials. You can let us know on X. There's links under the like button, or just leave a comment here, and we're super excited to get back to you and talk more. Don't forget to join our Discord as well if you're interested in such conversations. All right, for now, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.